Hey everybody, I'm Brooke and I sobered up August 2nd, 2016.
Hi friends, I'm Suzanne and I sobered up December 19th, 1991.
Together we got a lot of recovery and we host Seek Purpose, the podcast.
Seek Purpose is a community that supports recovery, healing, and spiritual growth.
We believe that sharing our stories can greatly impact our communities and collective action can impact the world.
So stop scrolling and start listening, will you?
Hi everybody, I am Brooke.
Hi friends, I am Suzanne.
And this is Seek Purpose, the podcast. Today we have Nathan is here with Ronny to share their stories of recovery, finding love, what it's like in the pandemic and how they're supporting other people and finding purpose on their journey. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
All right, so yeah, my name is Ronny. I do a lot of crazy sobriety content on TikTok. My sobriety date is September 30th, 2019.
And my name is Nathan. I am in recovery as well. My sobriety date is also September 30th, 2017.
Well, we want to welcome all of you. Anybody that's showing up here and wondering, wow, this looks a lot different than TikTok. It is, but not really. What we do over here at Seek Purpose is we really try to provide a place that people can come, and know that they can turn their pain into some passion and some purpose, because we all have those difficult struggles, especially in recovery and living sober. And Ronny and Nathan are here to kind of talk about their journey through the pains of life and how to, heal and, also show about relationship and love and staying together, maybe.
Yeah, let's start there. Do you guys want to share your relationship story? I think let's start on a good note.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, it definitely started for me, like literally the first few weeks of my sobriety. I was going live on Facebook, doing the most. Actually, it was called The Rad Show, and it was revolving around recovery. It was me and two other people, and I was live, and he happened to go in, and I was definitely flirting through the live. And then, but then that was the end of that for a few weeks, I think, or a few days or something. And then later, because I had recently relapsed, I put a post on Facebook just generalizing, being like, hey, like any people in recovery, here's my number, please reach out to me. And then he reached out to me. And then from there, we're here now. It's been over a year together. So
Yeah, it was super crazy. Like I instantly fell in love with his personality, like online. Like he's very charismatic, very real, very in your face. And just something just drew me to him. And I was like, I'm just gonna take a chance. I'm gonna shoot my number over there and see what happens. And yeah, it blossomed into something really great.
yeah, I did not see it coming.
To give him support, or were you like right away like this is?
Were you 13 stepping this guy?
So unbeknownst to me, we started communicating. When I shot him my number, yeah, there was definitely some chemistry on my end just from seeing him online and stuff. But it was really unbeknownst to me. And I remember we had been talking for, I don't know, back and forth like all day. You know how a relationship starts, like when you start, all day you're texting back and forth. And on like the third or fourth day, I'm like, oh, well, how much clean time do you have? And long pause. I didn't get a message back.
I was like, oh my God, here it is. He's gonna drop me. He ain't gonna want to talk to me anymore. I'm like, I only have like, I don't even know, probably like
2 weeks.
2 weeks
Yeah.
under my belt. I was like, that's it. I lost this dude. So I definitely paused, but I did tell him my sobriety date is September 30th.
And I thought it was really cool because then I was like, well, that's my sobriety date. And I definitely didn't run it by my sponsor. It's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, or at least that's the motto I was going with. And then, yeah, we always tell each other, like, the first time we actually met in person is I showed up to a meeting and I watched him get his 30-day chip.
Oh, yeah. I was so mad because I was like, oh my God, this is just going to emphasize the fact that I'm a newcomer. I was like, damn. And then I remember though, like after that, I'm like, damn, he's really not going to want to talk to me after this. But then I remember I was just so like nervous because like it was like one of the first few times I saw him in real life. And I was like really like, wow, this guy looks really good. And then I went up to him after the meeting and he couldn't even look me in the eyes. He was, you were really nervous.
So nervous.
And he was like, all right, well, I gotta go to work, so I'll talk to you later. I'm like, okay, fine. So I thought like I thought that was it, but we kept talking and it just definitely evolved from there.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody that is new in recovery looking to get into a relationship? I know we talked about this a bit before the show, because I think that's a huge thing. Once we get clean, there's so many other ways we kind of pick up, and relationships can be that for somebody. It can kind of fill that void and become a new addiction, but also could not be healthy. Suzanne has a different experience. She also got into a relationship early. I'm sure she'll share that story as well. But so for some people it does work out, but it can be a struggle. And what is your advice to someone that's looking for love in early recovery?
Yeah, well, this has been amazing. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. But I will say that it definitely it's a lot, you know, because it forces you to look at yourself with a magnifying glass. But I got really lucky. Like I got involved with someone who's, you know, had more time with me and also was actively helping other people in the community. So organically, I just wanted to learn from him and grow and grow with him. And it inspired me to be better. But if I have a sponsee and they ask me, should I get in a relationship? Absolutely not until you finish your steps or have a bit more clean time. But that would be my suggestion. I just really feel like I got lucky, and to be completely honest, I might sound crazy, but I really do think this connection, starting from the sobriety date to all the stuff that we've gone through together this past year, is something more than just us. I think there's something else going on here, and I really believe that from the heart. Like I really think this is meant for so much more that I can't even wrap my mind around. But I got lucky, but not everyone does. So that's I don't know if that answers it.
I know for me, I waited, so I didn't get in a relationship the first year of my recovery. I was basically in a relationship with the 12-step program I was involved with. So for me, I mean, I definitely would suggest probably holding off. You don't know who you are yet when you come into recovery. You got all these flaws, like all these emotions, like all this stuff just flooding you that we push down with drugs and alcohol. So you don't know who you are. So how can you give somebody your best if you're not there yet, or you know, or at least not close to it?
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Like it may not be the right thing. I too recommend no relationships in the first year, mainly because you're right. You're just so scattered. You know, you're thawing out, you're kind of understanding. All of a sudden, you know, your inner self is starting to evolve, and having to share that with somebody else can become extremely difficult. However, me too, I had my partner had many years of sobriety, and he definitely, you know, made sure that my recovery was number one. I remember the day that he said, by the way, if you ever pick up, I'm out of here. And if you ever cancel any support meeting or time with your recovery program for me, I'm out of here. And he laid those rules down right away. And he did. I was terrified because I was just like, oh my gosh, I really had that instilled, and I'm very grateful to him. And two, there is something that for sure I can say after 30 years with the man, there was 100% purpose why God wanted us to meet. No question. You know, there's a lot of amazing things that have happened and transpired in our relationship. It hasn't been easy, but it's been a good one. So I'm excited to hear some of the things that are happening with you guys. Like what's your solution for your recovery, as far as what you do to not kill each other in certain situations?
No, you know what? That's awesome. That's a great question. Like I said, I think like being in a relationship for me has magnified what I need to look at specifically for me. And like what I do, not to you know, well, I will say first of all, he's definitely been really patient with me. Really, really patient. And it has given me more motivation to really look at what I need to work on. It has kind of sped up the process. This is the first time I've ever actually gone through the steps. And along going through the steps, because of my, little fits here and there, I've seeked out other things to kind of help me cope and learn about myself and just be a better person, because it's definitely been very frustrating for me to not go to what I typically go to as far as like my pettiness or stuff like that. So self-help books, I even sought out therapy for the first time this past year. And just being involved online. I work the steps and I try to be involved with like sponsees and stuff like that. So that's the way I try to make myself more sane and realize it's not all about me. And this relationship has helped me kind of bring that awareness to the forefront. So
yeah, I know for me, what's really crazy is I've never been in a healthy relationship until now. Mm-hmm. So the only idea that I had of a relationship was just toxic mess, just toxic. Like, I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me. This is how I show my love. Like, I had this just warped understanding of what a healthy relationship and love really was. So I knew when I met him how special like he was, just instantly. Like, it was just an instant connection. I just can't even put it into words. So I knew that this was something real, and I didn't want to fuck it up. I didn't want to mess it up. So the first thing that I really focused and narrowed in on is that I'm not going to do the stuff that I did before. So I wanted communication. So we're really good about communicating what we feel. Probably him more so than me. We're brutally honest. You know what I mean? Most of the time with compassion, sometimes with not. Something that I really, really like, it sounds so trivial, but maybe other, addicts or people in recovery can understand is we've never in any of our like disagreements or anything, we've never like lashed out and said things to purposely hurt the other person. That's unbeknownst to me. I've never been in a relationship where that's never happened. You know what I mean? We're mad. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to make you feel bad. That's something we've never done. We've set some boundaries.
We're so lucky.
Right.
Give me some of that.
Right. Sorry. And we've definitely set some boundaries, which is really good, and we've stuck to them. Like, it's just crazy. So it's like this whole relationship has blossomed into us both learning how to be in a healthier relationship. And I don't know how it's worked. Maybe the steps, that's the only thing I can really attribute to that, and higher power. But it's worked. Mm-hmm. It's worked. Like it's worked.
Yeah, I love that you bring up higher power. What does that look like for you as a couple? Like, do you practice spirituality together? Do you do your own programs and kind of leave that out of your relationship? What does that look like for you?
I love that question. Well, because I'm really spiritual, and I definitely believe in a higher power. And I think I remember one of the first few nights we were hanging out. I think I made you pray with me.
You did.
Because
in Spanish.
Because I really do believe, like I said, I really feel in my heart that this relationship is so much more than, I feel like there's a bigger purpose here. I've yet to figure that out. But I remember being in rehab the first time, and I put down on my list exactly like my ideal, like my relationship ideal. I wanted someone sober. I wanted someone God-fearing. It's going to sound a little petty to say, but it was just playing around, but it's crazy how it came true. I said, I want someone white. And I wanted someone white, not in a bad way. I just had my last person just kind of traumatized me. So I'm like, in my thought process, I thought that was the solution. And then what else did I put? Oh, family oriented. And it's just so crazy how a lot of those things that I put on this list came true. And I really feel, actually, I know I'm going to talk a lot, but it's just because there's a lot of little things, little connections. So when I went on our first date with him, I was so nervous. I never get nervous before. I've never gotten nervous like going on a date with someone. But this time I was, and I remember I went downstairs with my mom. I'm like, Mom, please, can you just pray with me right now? Like, before I get out of this door, Mom, please pray with me, because I'm about to have this long 2-hour drive with this man that I do not know. And I need all the prayers on my side. And she really held my hands and we prayed. So I feel my higher power has blessed me with him and a lot of opportunities. And I definitely think there's something greater than us here right now. So
yeah, we've definitely incorporated like the higher power thing aspect into our relationship. My relationship with the higher power really just didn't develop until and really cultivate until probably when I moved here in Arizona. I had some warped like idea of who higher power was. I didn't like it. You know what I mean? But I just got tired of like just crediting coincidences to things. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way that all these things are coincidences and like life is just unfolding and it's just a coincidence that it's just working in the best way that it possibly can for me. But I do know a lot of times because we've been through some rough stuff in our relationship, and it usually always resorts back to prayer.
Mm-hmm. Well, going into because we just your talk and just seeing how you're looking at each other, just feeling when you talk about that purpose and that connection and the reason that you guys are together and seeing how obviously God knew that you had that little I'm going to put you somebody with some little things. And we got some pretty good stuff, but you do talk about it's been a really difficult year. So tell us, what is each one of you, maybe you have the same experience, but what is the one area in your relationship that brought you the most pain, the most brokenness time? The darkest moment of your relationship so far?
From the top of my head, I think one of the most darkest moments was when he was taken to prison.
Not prison.
Jail. Sorry. He was taken to jail. It was very abrupt. We didn't see it coming. We were with his son and his best friend, and they took him away. And like it was just one of those times where like there was nothing I could do. And this was like the first time like I also dealt with like I guess just like even just like the verbiage, because and it brought up a lot of my past trauma, which I think is so weird, like with my father, because my father like he's an alcoholic, and it happened a similar way. Like with my dad, like they took him away, like the cops took him away once. So I kind of brought all that back. But like just seeing him like be taken away like that, it really broke my heart. And especially because he was clean and sober and like literally doing the right thing. And then just in that moment, I just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I had some records from my past come up. You know, it was old warrant from like 4 or 5 years ago that I had no clue about. You know, I'm at this point, almost 3 years sobriety, and we're coming back from a trip to the Grand Canyon. I'm speeding, and I get pulled over, and it's just like my whole world crashed. You know, they're like, you need to step out of the car. You know, and there's a lot of uncertainty in it. So you know, like. I didn't know like if I was not getting out for a while. It was in a state 2,000 miles away. They were going to come pick me up. Like it was just really, really wild and crazy. And I just assumed he would leave. You know what I mean? Like that's just my experience. Like in the past, I just assumed he would leave. And he didn't. You know, there was a lot of tears over the phone. There was a lot of brutal honesty. There was a lot of like in your face emotion. Luckily it all worked out. You know, like higher power. I can't consider it a coincidence, but it all worked out. I wasn't in there too terribly long. And it made us a lot stronger, so much stronger. Like just instantaneously, it was like it connected us even more.
What kept you going, Ronnie, during that time? Like, how did you hold on to hope through that? Because I couldn't even imagine. That must have been so terrifying.
Yeah, I definitely prayed a lot. And then also that experience taught me so much too, because I didn't know what was gonna happen. It was just such a weird time because like I was so used to talking to him every single day, going to his house every weekend. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know where he stands. Like, I'll be waiting for the phone to ring and it's only a certain amount of time. And just like picturing him being in there was just so freaking sad to me. But I prayed a lot, and it taught me to fearlessly love someone, even when you don't know. You know what I mean? When you don't understand, like I realized, like, damn, I don't have any idea what's going on right now. But what I do know is that I want to be there for him as much as I can because I care about him. So I prayed a lot, and I'm glad he's here right now. Yeah.
So for me, recently, and I mean, it's still kind of fresh, but so I lost my father a few weeks ago. It was pretty sudden, and it really rocked my world. It really did. And like, I mean, at this point in our relationship, we've been through some stuff. Like, I know we're solid. And it's the first like real like close death I've had in recovery. So I didn't know what to expect. I just knew that I did not like how I was feeling, and it was crazy. And I always had in the back of my mind that when something traumatic like that would happen, that for sure is what's going to take me out. You know what I mean? Like, that's always sat in the back of my mind. Like, I know I'm not strong enough to go through something like that. And when it happened, you know, like, he was the first phone call I made. You know, he was there throughout it all. Like he definitely verbalized that he didn't know how to be there for me. He's never been through that, but he was gonna damn sure try, and he was gonna do whatever he could to be there in the way that I needed him to be. And that was like really, like, again, something I'm not used to. Like, it was very selfless of him. It's like, no, I'm not gonna be there for you the way I want to be. I'm gonna be there in the way for you to be there for you. And he was. You know what I mean? He was definitely, and still is. You know, he kind of like, because I'm not very open with my emotions. I tend to table a lot of stuff in. I'm not a big crier. But he finds his little ways to like niche in there to kind of show that he's still wanting to know. He's like, so how are you today? 1 to 10. You know what I mean? And then we'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? And then he's there like when I'm ready to open up, and you know, he's there, and he engages in the conversation. But yeah, like it's we've been through some kind of crazy stuff, and stuff that would normally tear some relationships apart, and it made us stronger. So
I want to touch a little bit on grief and recovery, because it is such a it's probably one of the hardest things to go through. I'm so sorry you lost your father. I can't imagine. I just lost my little brother in August, and it's been the hardest time in my recovery for sure. I've never felt closer to a relapse than I did this year, and I had the same thoughts you did. Like, if I ever got cancer, if I ever lost somebody, like, there's no way I'm staying sober. Like, I'm allowed to drink. People will understand. It's crazy how, one day at a time, we're really able to get through any and all things. And you're so fortunate to have a good partner that can be by your side through this. But is there any tips that you have for someone who might have lost somebody recently or a while ago, is just dealing with grief and recovery? And like, how are you getting through that?
So yeah, actually I do. So what I've always known that works for me when like I'm feeling iffy, when I'm feeling like I'm going down the wrong path, is I went straight back to the basics, right? In my 12-step program. So I went to talking to my sponsor on a daily. I went to upping my meeting attendance. I went to helping out a newcomer. Like that was something that really helped me. It was like being a service to somebody else to kind of take me outside of myself. I stayed really, really busy. Like, and that's what I'm doing now too, is like I'm consistently trying to make sure my day is filled so that my mind can't, the committee upstairs can't play tricks on me and like come at me and get at me from the back door. Staying really, really busy. And feeling what you're feeling, right? Like, I know that it hurts and it still hurts, and some days are better than others. I can pull myself together and get through my day. But I know that those emotions and those feelings aren't forever. I know that there's the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, feelings aren't like 100%. Like they're you're gonna get through them. You just gotta ride through it. You just gotta realize that it's not gonna be cool. It's not gonna be fun. You're not gonna enjoy it, some of it, but it's not forever. So that's what I just keep telling myself. It's not forever what I'm feeling. And then what was really like very special for me and my dad's relationship was kind of rocky growing up. He was an alcoholic. It's pretty much ultimately what took him out. But the last words he said to me was that he was proud of me. And I buried him in his shirt pocket with my multiple years key tag and a letter, and made a commitment and promised him that I would continue on this path and that I would show others how to find this path. So it's, I don't know, crazy as it is, I'm holding on to that, and that kind of gives me like some purpose and some like real good like motivation to not fuck it up. So and it's working. I have bad days, but I try and talk about it as much. I'm definitely a big believer in music. Is like so therapeutic. So he actually got me like this really nice sound system for my car for Christmas. So I sing at the top of my lungs. I take long drives. I look into the sunset. I just find whatever I can grasp on that's not drugs or alcohol to make me feel better. And it's working so far.
Okay, you got to tell us what's your go-to song. I know Brooke was thinking the same thing, and we have so many people here that have come into the room. We want to say hi to everybody. I have Ashley saying, I love you so much, Nathan. I'm so glad I have you both in my life. You keep me pushing. Brandy, Michelle, so many people here. We had Climb for Recovery on. Chuck Norfless was here. Corey, I wish I could say hi to everybody. There's just so much love that's coming through. And we want to welcome all of you here to Seek Purpose, the podcast. We're live. If you missed anything, it will be available tomorrow for download. So make sure you subscribe, like, and share. But I want to hear what is your go-to song? Because I was doing Pump Up the Jam before the show here, but I want to know what your guys' is. What's your scream, in the car, windows rolled up, go-to music?
What?
Go ahead.
What?
What song? We have many.
We have a lot.
Okay,
actually, really quick, I do want to say, I think one of the coolest things we do together is literally go in the car and like just jam out. It's really fun. But I think one of my songs for sure is Level Up, Level Up, Level Up, Level Up, Level Up by Sierra. What's yours?
I don't know. I can't really pinpoint it. So I'm into like really simpy music and like kind of club music sometimes, like when I'm in the car. We have one that we sing a lot, Half Love. Yeah. But it's for real. We just throw the playlist on shuffle and we go to town. It's a lot of fun.
That's so awesome. We definitely want to touch on how you're finding purpose in your recovery journeys. I know, Nathan, you are an outreach worker at Oxford House in Arizona. Is that correct? Can you tell us about that and how you got involved with Oxford House?
So just like the shortened version is I went to treatment. I didn't listen in treatment because I had some significant sobriety before, so I knew everything. And I ended up going back to the same environment that I was in before I went to treatment, and I didn't even last 30 days when I relapsed. My relapse lasted 1 week. It was wild. I didn't sleep the entire week. And I remember waking up on a doorstep in this bad house, no water, no electric. And I had slept it off and I was sober. I hadn't used since, before I went to sleep. But anyway, I woke up and I just remember that I didn't want to do this anymore. That was my feeling. And it was either I was going to get help and do something to take me out of this, or I was just going to go until the three outcomes: jail, institutions, and death. I reached out to someone and she said, well, I have this place called Oxford House. I can come and pick you up, take you to interview. It's a recovery house that you can kind of, use to get on your feet. And I did. So I moved in, I interviewed that night. They were gracious enough to let me in. I couldn't even pass the UA. I had a backpack. I was dirty. I was rough. But they welcomed me in with open arms. They're trying to feed me. They're like, we're glad you're here. Welcome home. And it's like, I just instantly felt like I knew where I was supposed to be there. I was where I was meant to be at that time. And it just blossomed from there. So
Because
It's
God knew
super,
that you're going to be
super-
meeting Ronnie.
right.
Yeah.
That's how God works
Right.
in the program. It already knew what you
Right.
needed to be in that doorstep and walking in with
Right.
that conversation and applying, because this was what was coming, right?
Absolutely. And just went from there. I got really involved in service work. I opened up some recovery Oxford houses in Kansas. That's where I started my journey as just a regular member. And they had this job posting, like they wanted to bring Oxford House to Arizona. We're all across the country. We're in 49 states, but Arizona had no Oxford houses. And I was like, that'd be super, super cool to like create a movement of Oxford houses in a new state and help people and just try something new. And I applied, interviewed, they said to me, and here I am 2 years later.
Oh, it's so awesome. Now you're giving back to the community that helped you. And that is all what we're about here at Seek Purpose. And Ronnie, you are a sober influencer. You're absolutely killing it on TikTok. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure is not anybody that's watching this right now, you are just so much fun. You seem like you're in your element and just so passionate about what you do there. Your skits are hilarious. They keep me up way too late on TikTok. And the We Sober Now movement is just like so fun. You bring fun and life and light into recovery for especially the recovery TikTok community. Can you tell us about that journey? Kind of a little bit of your story getting into recovery and then how that led you to TikTok.
Yeah, so it's so funny. So when I first met him, he would not get off his phone. And I'm like, every time I'd go, he'd be on his phone. I'm like, what is he watching? And he's on TikTok. I had not been on TikTok yet. So I'm like, watch, I'm gonna get on that app and he's gonna pay attention to me, whether it's on his phone or in real life. So I made a TikTok and I made it to his For You page eventually. But things started hitting when I started sharing my sobriety. And I really do believe that now I really see it, because I like when I was really struggling with addiction, like my darkest hours, I would go on YouTube and look up videos and I'd be like, damn, I want to be like that guy. Like crazy to think that he has this amount of time or whatever, or stuff like that. And to be on the other side, like people reaching out to me for advice or just like tips on how to recover, or just an appreciation of me having fun on a TikTok. It really makes me feel that I'm having fun. Like this is honestly, you guys, more selfish for me. Like I literally have so much fun making these videos, but people like it, and it really. I just think it's so amazing. Like recently, like I've totally forgot this person. Like I got them. I didn't get them into rehab, but I gave them numbers and stuff like that so they can go to this detox and stuff like that. And I totally like kind of forgot about them because it was like a few months ago. And they like messaged me like last week, like, hey, I'm out of rehab this amount of time. And I'm just like, damn, like that is the beauty of this recovery. The program to me is that we go through darkness and we get out of it. And inevitably we help someone else. So that's why I always keep it in my mind that this isn't about me anymore. This is about the next person who needs it. Because I was on the other side of the screen years ago, like wondering, I literally thought it was a dream. Like, I don't think I'll ever make it out of addiction. And right now I am in this moment. So it's just, that's my purpose. I really feel like my purpose is to help people while having fun and show them that sobriety can be fun. And I think I do that for the most part on TikTok because I'm having fun doing it. So, yeah.
That is so awesome. I mean, TikTok for me too. I didn't know what the damn thing was until this one over here in the next screen was like, Suzanne, throw this hoodie on. And I'm like, okay. I had no idea what the hell it was. And then she kept on getting me to do these stupid things. And I didn't really enjoy it. Actually, I was still kind of recovering out loud. I've always recovered out loud in my recovery. Face to face in my community. At the hockey rink, I tell all the hockey moms, hey, I'm sober, I don't drink. I'd be really proud because I was always hoping that if somebody did need help, at least they knew where they could come and trust somebody that understood, and have helped many people over the years. But doing this TikTok thing like out loud, like what? And when I started experiencing people like yourself that are recovering out loud and using this platform in such a positive way, you know, yes, there's always going to be the nilly, you know, the ones that are negative, but fun in the pandemic. Like how, like that's one thing I battled in my own recovery is like, how am I going to have fun being stuck in the house with my kids, having to do the everyday, like there wasn't places to go anymore. There wasn't events, there wasn't things. And I just found such an amazing community and giggled. I need to giggle in my sobriety. If I ain't giggling, I'm going to be drunk. So I love giggling with you, Ronnie, and you motivated me. I'm like, oh my God, that was good. I think I'm going to try to have to do something like that too. So I just want to thank you, and just seeing all the people's lives that you've changed. You know, these comments, I can't wait till you go back and read them because I'm seeing them, you know, coming in. So tell me, what was your favorite TikTok? What was the one that was a standout for you that you found that you got the most attention on that really inspired you to continue?
Well, there's this one video. It's so funny. It's always the videos that I do not think are like, oh, this is it. It's this video that I said, I was throwing a frisbee or something, and I was like, get sober now too. You can stop stealing from your family. It like got over 100,000 views. And actually that's the video that someone from Texas saw. They flew me out to make some videos with them. And I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Like, it was the first time I've ever like been on a plane.
Oh, wow.
It's just like, it's crazy. But yeah, that's the one that I didn't think was gonna do good. But honestly, there's a lot. I think recently, which one did I like? I don't know, there's a lot of them, but again,
We
the one
sober
I did.
now. I think it's gonna be your number one.
That's right. Hit single coming soon. I'm just kidding. We sober now, baby. Yes. I don't know. I just have a lot of fun on there, and I'm glad people like it. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart that I really appreciate everyone, all my friends on there. Like, it's so crazy that we're all around the world, everybody in recovery, you know? We all go through all our struggles. And in this moment, we're all connected. And I think that is just, y'all don't believe in something greater than ourselves, baby, it's right there. Okay. The fact that we go through some shit, but we're out here together and helping other people effortlessly, to me, that is God, magic. That is just something bigger than us. And I think that's probably the sweetest thing I've been able to experience is watch other people grow and change lives as they go. You know, I think that's just a beautiful thing. Sorry, I get really passionate about that.
No, take us to church. That was awesome.
Someone says Michael Jackson. Pardon me for interrupting. I just have Michelle saying Michael Jackson. So I guess you did the Michael Jackson one.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I love that one. I did not think that was going to turn out the way it did. I said, okay, we're going to try this, and I did it. I'm like, oh, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good one. I really like that one.
So awesome. Let's talk about bringing fun into recovery. What do you guys do for date nights and to just enjoy yourselves clean and sober?
Well, we love food.
We love food. Love it. I love that he loves food because I just love food, so it goes along well. I think date nights, what do we do? Honestly, I like personally, like one of the most fun nights that I've had was, I noticed a trend is when we do something together that we both haven't done, that we're both experiencing at the same time. It's always really cool for me. I think on my birthday, he took me to the Grand Canyon, but we like went all the way to the edge, and it was just such a crazy view. Like it was just amazing. And then one time I went to the aquarium, and you should have seen him. Big old kid with the fish and the octopuses. And we were both just living our best life. Like our little kids came out, like we really were having fun because I think that was the first time we did something like that, but we did it together.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's been pretty crazy. Like we have a really good balance of, you know, Netflix and chill, you know what I mean, time. And then, you know, being able to get out and do kind of crazy stuff. Like I know for me, one of my favorite things we ever did is I remember watching movies growing up and always seeing like the couples that went to, I didn't know it was a mountaintop, but that went to all the way on top and sat in their cars and made out, and the whole city was lit up underneath them, you know what I mean? And we live here in Phoenix, right? So lots of mountains. And we went up to this place called South Mountain, and we were able to watch the sunset over the mountains, and then literally turn and watch the city glow up. Like, and it was just very, 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 very touching. I just loved it. It was one of my favorite things we've ever did. And we have big plans. You know, we are now trying to travel. That's something we really both like a lot. We have a trip planned so far out, but not this summer, but next summer, to go to this really cool place in Ohio that has like our own private swimming hole, and like, I don't know, we have very, very big aspirations for stuff we like to do for fun. But in the end, if we're, I
was saying, I think the Ohio, my son went there. I remember he's a photographer, influencer, and they were going to Idaho, and I'm like, what? The girl that they did work with just retired, just left her job to be an influencer photographer full time. And I'm thinking she's planning this big trip, and she's talking about this big trip. And then I find out it's Idaho, and I'm like, isn't that where they make potatoes? Like, what the hell? Why would you want to go to Idaho? Man, what they came out with. If you guys want to go follow him at Brendan Kelly and at Megan O'Rourke and Angela Giggs, amazing content for Idaho. The things that they did, and the natural springs, I couldn't believe these photos came from Idaho. Do you guys like hiking? And
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I initially didn't like hiking until my sponsor just forced me to do stuff like that. But yeah, I enjoy hiking. I will say I will not be doing it this summer. It's extremely hot, but he was all about hiking. And then I started hiking during the winter, you know, when it's nice here in Arizona, and all of a sudden he doesn't. But I'm sure May, he's going to tell me to go hiking with him on 110-degree weather. And I will let you know right here, right now. Absolutely.
No fun.
Actually, we're going to hook you up, Ronnie, with Climb for Recovery, because that's what he does. I bet if it's got to do with like you guys recovery, climbing for, he does big promotion, like not promotions, but he does, it's like a fundraiser that they climb for people who have battled in addiction. And it's a fundraiser. And when they get to the top, it's pretty awesome. So we'll have to get you connected in to the next recovery event. Yeah.
Down for that.
I never got into hiking. People kept trying to like get me. They're like, it's so awesome. It's so much fun. And I don't know. I like walking, but like going uphill hiking, not so much.
I think the coolest thing for me for hiking, because I honestly, before sobriety, you would never catch me throwing a ball, putting on some gloves, or going anywhere where there's bugs. Okay. But this year I've been boxing, I've been hiking mountains. And I think the coolest thing for me was just like, knowing I don't like something is gonna make me uncomfortable, but I still go do it. And then like getting at the top all sweaty, I'm like, damn, I really did that. And just like a year ago, I was doing drugs. Ain't that crazy? But I will say, I wish they had an elevator at the top of the mountain. You know, because once you do the whole thing, I'm like, okay, there should be an elevator or a helicopter for me. But no, we still have to go all the way down. So I don't know, it's fun. It's an adventure for sure.
They do have helicopter in some of those places you can. But what else is on your bucket list? Have you guys made a sober bucket list? It sounds like you guys have got some pretty key things that you really want to tick off. What are Idaho? And there's a lot more there than just potatoes. And what else is on that bucket list that you guys would like to explore in your sobriety?
He is definitely the big dreamer, big ideas one in our relationship. And we're definitely piecing together a bucket list, but I know he wants to go everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I personally, something that I really would like to see us go to is I want to see the pyramids in Egypt. You know what I mean? I want to get outside of the U.S. and realize that, you know, we're not confined to just this one country. Like, there's just so much culture and adventure out in the world. You know what I mean? That all we have to do is hop on a plane. That's it. You know what I mean? So I think traveling for us is going to be something really prevalent in the future, especially now because we both work really where our laptops are. So like being able to hop on a plane and go is not really too much of an issue. We're not strapped to a desk, you know, in an office building. But for me personally, my number one is I want to see the pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah, I want to do something like that. Like he said, I definitely want to like travel the world. You know, for a long time I've been doing drugs and just stayed in Arizona, so I haven't seen much. Like I literally like I had a question at work. Where would you like to go on to our vacation? And I said something like, I said like some city in the country, like, and they started laughing at me. I'm like, well, because I really, I don't know, like I've never really been out, so anything is cool. But I definitely want to go to somewhere like Costa Rica or Hawaii or anywhere, honestly. But I will say also really quick, he's helped me, like kind of influenced me in doing like little recovery milestones as far as like kind of being a grown up. Like watching him, I've got a savings account. I just recently got a credit card. What else I do? Oh, I got my vaccine. Like I little things like that make me feel like I'm an adult. And coming soon, I'm getting my teeth worked on, and yeah, just cool stuff like that that I really wouldn't be able to do without my sobriety. You know what I mean? And it makes me feel like, damn, I'm really doing something for myself, and just one day at a time, fixing my life as much as I can. So it's really cool.
I'm like 4 years in and I still get excited every time I pay my bills ahead of time.
Like, damn.
Who am I?
Seriously, it's crazy.
I never thought that I would be somebody that actually has their bills on auto pay. That was never something I thought would ever be something I could do. It really amazes me, like how much like your life changes because of sobriety.
Subtle flex. I ain't there yet. I ain't there in auto pay. I still gotta have some control. Listen, you can wait till next week. Okay. we'll get there. But see, that like that inspires me because like I want to be like that eventually. I want to like be like, oh yeah, take it at this day, and I'm not gonna be like too crazy about it. But right now, in the meantime, I'll let y'all know.
But your bills are paid though.
My bills are paid, but I still definitely want to, you know, if last minute change, okay, can you give me like 2 more weeks? But it's all a practice for me. It's cool. It's exciting. For sure.
Did I freeze? I think we froze. That's live. That's live for you. Okay, we heard you talk about Netflix and chill. Okay, and we actually also just partnered with a sober curator this last week, and sorry, Elise. We just became the first Canadian sober curators. We're very excited. And they are recovery, kind of an online recovery magazine, but not just your clinical. This is really talking about stuff that we really want to know about being sober and finding, new connections, fresh connections, and of course the movie talk, which is coming out. Brooke will probably share more about that in a bit, but you got to tell us what is your go-to Netflix.
So he lets me have control of the Netflix and chill. I put him through the very painful, from the start, Grey's Anatomy experience. He wasn't ready for that one, but yeah, Grey's Anatomy was a big one for us.
Why are you laughing?
Just because his Netflix choices sometimes.
And what's cool is with Grey's Anatomy is like he had never really seen me be emotional or like really open or my emotions on my sleeve, but put on a Grey's Anatomy episode, I'm crying. I'm like super pumped up and excited, and he like got the biggest kick out of it.
And don't let me ask a question. How many times it'll be like, so who's that? What's happening right there? Hold on. I'll tell you right now. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just sit here. I mean, we're 3 seasons in, but like, I'll figure it out. Yeah, he's more of that. I honestly don't watch a lot of stuff. I watch more like, I know it's gonna sound crazy. I watch stuff like on YouTube, on TikTok. My whole world is kind of in there, so I probably should mediate that, but not really good at movies. I'll watch them with him, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so now you started and opened up that YouTube. What's your go-to YouTube? Who inspires you most on YouTube and on TikTok? Who's the account?
So on TikTok, I will say, first of all, and I really mean this, all y'all inspire me, okay? Like, how would I say is like one? There's just a lot. Oh my God. But I love all y'all. Miss Rehab Girlfriend. Shout out to Miss Rehab Girlfriend. Sober Comedy, my boy. all of y'all. And then you know who I really admire too is Lalita. She is Recovery Life Apparel. Just seeing her, she really out here. You know what I mean? Like she's working on the clothing brand. She's dancing. She's doing all kinds. That is inspirational to me. Again, taking the darkness, making light. So I see myself doing stuff like that too, soon. And then YouTube, I will say, I know Shane Dawson into some drama right now, but he if you might be able to tell that he was an influence at one point. I don't know, just stuff like that. Wow, how about you? Who's your sober influence?
I'm absolutely in love with Maggie. Is it Maggie?
Maggie, no. I love my girl Maggie. Don't play with me. That's my girl Maggie. Don't. That's my Maggie. Yo,
it's really, really cool. He got me on sober TikTok. You know, like when I was on TikTok, I was all over. You never know what kind of videos will pop up. But like then he started doing like really, really like sober content. And you know, I just started interacting like with his videos and stuff. And like now literally my TikTok is filled with sober TikTok and dolls. Sober TikTok and dolls.
That is a good for you page.
Right.
And of course, I don't know. I really do mean it. Like all you guys inspire me because I really see everyone as like friends and just watching just like their growth and like the things they say. It's just like sometimes I'm like, damn, we really all are out here going through our own struggle, right? But then we make a video and bring light to it, and it just takes us out of ourselves, and it just I don't know. It's just I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I've always been obsessed with like because you know when I first got into recovery, like I was convinced I was the only one dealing with addiction. I really thought it was only me, and like I will never forget the first phone call I made to rehab. Like the shout out to you, Molly, Miss Molly. I remember she was talking to me on the phone, and she literally was on the line for a good hour or so, just hearing me out. That was like the first time I connected with someone that I didn't even know how they looked. Probably definitely an age gap and stuff like that, but it didn't matter because we knew exactly what we were talking about. We knew exactly what we were feeling, and that to me still speaks volumes. And I'm just obsessed with that. It's pretty cool.
I love it. What is like the big vision for you for giving back? If there's no obstacles in your way and anything was possible, how would you want to serve the recovery community?
So I do see myself in a few years, manifesting right now. I do see myself making content with a purpose, just like helping out people in recovery, and I also think like that's why I say like seeing him and because you know he works for Oxford and he's constantly helping people. I think together we'll make a really great team out in the future once we all get our stuff together. I think we're gonna make really big moves and help so many people. But for me, I definitely want to create like I don't know yet, but like content and makes ending the stigma and making sobriety look not only like attainable because it really is, but fun. Because there's this thing like, oh, you're sober, that sucks, or like that's not fun. Absolutely, it is fun, and I will prove it to you. Okay, so that's basically what I want to do, stuff like that. Oh, really fast. Okay, actually, there is a show that I do love, Euphoria.
Oh yeah.
So, so let me tell you, again, I cannot watch TV shows, but Euphoria gets me hooked. Like I will literally just watch it. And shout out to whoever the director is over there. I'm your boy. If you ever need an extra, if you ever need somebody to serve the appetizers, I am your boy. So I see myself maybe, you know, one day doing stuff like that too. Like even if it's just me in the background, like just walking like an extra. Like I want to be just as long as I affiliate myself like in one way, shape, or form, connect to sobriety and content. I think that's my dream, you know.
And what about you, Nathan?
Man, so like I said before, I bleed and breathe Oxford House because for one, it saved my life. Like it literally saved my life and started this whole path for me. So for me, like if I had no obstacles, nothing in the way, I want a bed for every person coming out of treatment that has nowhere to go, that needs somewhere safe to live. Like if I could provide or have some small part in providing like a safe shelter for someone so that they can take that whole stress out of their mind and focus truly just on recovery and getting their life back together, I would be the happiest person in the world. I do have like big aspirations to drive legislation to benefit and help those that are coming into recovery, right? Like end like maybe not end punishment. Like I don't want to get too political or whatever, but like give us the chance and give states and people the chance to help those get clean and rebuild their life, right? Like fix the problem. Don't punish people all the time. Fix the problem. Like if you fix the problem, like for me, I mean not to get too crazy into it, I was horrible in my addiction. I did not care about laws. I did not care who I hurt. But that was me in addiction, right? And you take me out of addiction, I'm the exact opposite. I'm a productive member. I help people, like, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm a real person that the world wants in their community. You know what I mean? So like to be able to like drive some legislation and like just continuously end the stigma on addiction and you know and be able to help those that in need. That would be like ideal. So ideal.
I really love that. I heard recently, what did they say? Addiction affects everyone we know around us negatively, but recovery does the same thing positively. Like it affects everybody around us, our family, our friends, people who are just watching us on social media. And that's why we do what we do at Seek Purpose and get these stories out there in front of people, because it is impossible to hear someone like you, Ronny, coming from addiction and now being an inspiration to people. Like it's impossible to not get inspired by that. So I just really want to thank you both for showing up here and sharing your journey as a couple. It was such a nice surprise to have you both here. Where can our followers, our listeners get in touch with you?
Well, you know me, TikTok, you can find me anywhere under Ronny Morales. I'm on there like that everywhere. Yeah, Ronny Morales, everywhere.
For me, I'm just a follower of TikTok, so it's not a good one, but I recover extremely out loud on Facebook. And my Facebook name, my legal name is Tori. I go by Nathan, but Torey, Nathan Truitt, on Facebook. And I'm always open to adding people as friends, because recovering out loud is really what saves people. It really does.
Yeah, we just became friends on Facebook, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Well, you know, something they did a lot in the beginning of the pandemic for all the doctors and nurses and whatnot, taking care of the COVID sick patients and showing up. But man, you know, we need a huge big hearts and shout outs and thank yous to people like both of you who are every day taking those phone calls for you at Oxford House and all of you there and all of the places that are really needing that positive support. And you know, we got to figure out something to do through social media to kind of give that same honk at 7 o'clock or something. Actually, we're going to be doing Just for 24 go live April 24th to really just take that whole day to give huge shout outs for everybody that's living in recovery, supporting recovery. And we hope that you guys can help join us on that day.
Absolutely.
And all of you listening.
That's right.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Yes, thank you so much. We're so glad to have you here. Any last words, inspirational quotes, something that helped you along the way to leave with our audience today?
Reach out, whether you're in recovery, not in recovery. Don't the closed mouths don't get fed. Reach out. There's for every hand that's held out asking for help, there's probably a million that's ready to grab it and help you. So reach out, speak out.
That's right, baby. And then one day at a time has really helped me. And also, stop being scared of having the world in the palm of your hand. You're worth it. You're worth it. You're loved. You're special, and you deserve recovery, 100%. And then, of course, for all the people out there in the bag, what are we now? We sober now, baby. We don't do no more drugs and no more alcohol. That's right, baby. So thank you guys so much. He hears this all the time.
I live with it.
So yeah.
Oh.
Thank you so much for opening both of your relationships up, or your relationship up with the world, your stories. We're going to have you back because we do follow-ups here, because, you know, recovery, we're living with this for the rest of our lives, and you're not going to be able to shake us. So we're going to have you guys come back.
Right. We family now, baby.
Yeah, you betcha.
We family now. We gonna go there for dinner, all right?
Oh, you bet.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. We are thrilled to have you as a part of this community, and we are really trying to grow and reach more people. So there's a lot of ways you can get involved. One is going to our website. There's some really great resources there.
Yes. And the most exciting part is checking out those GIFs. Or what do you call them?
GIFs. I call them GIFs. You call them GIFs, whatever. Tomato, tomato.
So when you're actually enjoying your sober life and you're going and you're posting on your Instagram, please just go to Seek Purpose and check them all out and tag us.
Yeah.
I want to see what you guys are doing out there in sober life.
Yeah, we also have filters actually we've been putting out as well. There's so much you can do through social media with Seek Purpose, like, comment, share all of our posts, really get involved with this community. There's so much help out there for you and so much connection here we've been finding.
Yeah, and you know, the one thing that we have learned in recovery is asking for help. So we're going to ask for help and just become a patron and come help be a part of this community and help it grow. And we'd love to have you.
If you want to become a patron, we have a link on our website that you can click, and there's some really cool perks of becoming a patron with Seek Purpose. So we hope you check that out. And obviously, if you review this podcast on whatever podcasting app you're listening to, it's going to help us reach more ears and get that message out of recovery.
Stay tuned. We have so much more in store. And as our little community grows, our collective, there's exciting things that are happening that are coming out that we can't wait for you to be involved with. So stay tuned and stay connected.